wait for people to join. Yeah, it seems like everything is working. Bring my mic closer. All right, you guys hear me? Yeah. All right. I'm not sure really what I want to talk about. Um, yeah, no, I guess we could just start with how weird this all kind of feels. Like I don't know. It feels like I'm doing what I want to do, and um, it's just cool. It just really is. Like, I mean, the most fun thing for me to do is like talk about what I believe in, talk about what I'm learning about, and the fact that anyone wants to listen is always just music to my ears, right? But yeah, I want to thank everyone that tuned in the past few streams, tuned in to all the videos. It's awesome. It just really is. That's the only way to describe it. We get all soppy about it, but I don't think we can really do it justice. I don't think we can really put into words like what what this makes me feel. Cannot wait for tomorrow because every single ad is just gonna stop. Like it's literally going to be music to my ears when I don't have to see a oh Trump is the most evil person, oh Kamala is the most evil person. Like the worst people to ever go on Twitter is the people that um am I allowed to do this? Well, we'll find out if I get in trouble for this. But like literally, we'll just go on like fight for America. This is like this is nonsense. Like this is all gonna disappear tomorrow. Nothing's gonna change. The amount of energy everyone put into this is literally like imagine if you spent the same amount of time scrolling, watching this stuff that you spent like reading a book and going and actually spending time on your like regardless of what any of these people say, like to nothing's really going to change in your life fundamentally unless you change yourself. And it's just frustrating to me how big like it's just an illusion. It's not gonna do anything. It really isn't. And like that's just well, I don't know if it's playing audio. Yeah, no, it's not playing audio, but it's just like baffling to me how much time people spend in nonsense like politics and oh man, it's frustrating. The more I say this, the more I feel like I'm like this is like a hill not to die on because even the most I don't know what you want to call it, educated people are all about voting, are all about elections. Let me show you guys something that might change your mind. I mean, this isn't just me saying this. This is you know, one of the most well-respected authors who ever lived. If voting made any difference, they wouldn't let us do it. Hmm. That's what I've been trying to tell people forever. Not to be like a doomer here, not to be like one of those people in the camp of like, oh, it's all the same people, it's all this, it's all that. And it's like, no, like you have the biggest potential to affect change in your life. And if you change your own life, you can change your family's life. You can change the life of the people in your community. But everyone is going to point the finger. Everyone is going to look at what everyone else is doing, but not look at what they're doing. And you know, in my mind, that's a surefire way to not get anything done. In my mind, it's a surefire way to be in the same position 4 years later and then be like, oh, this is really the last election. Oh, this is like, how many times can they say this is the last election? How many times can they say that this is the most important election before you realize that it's all just nonsense? Like, I just genuinely don't understand it. Personal responsibility is the only thing that matters in this world. And the more you give your responsibility of your life, of what's going on in your life to other people, the less you can change about it, the less you can affect it. It's really that simple. And this is coming from someone who's politically informed as well. I genuinely, it's just sad to me. It's sad to me. Like if we really wanted to take back this country, we would have to, repeal, what is it, the 16th Amendment? Let me make sure it's not an important one that I'm just saying. Yeah, maybe it's not the 16th Amendment. Is anyone even in here? Or am I just educating myself about, since there's a few people in here? How accurate is that? I don't know. What amendment made Senate? It's the 17th. Damn, I've been saying the 16th Amendment. Yeah, so the 17th Amendment basically nationalized the Senate votes. So prior to the 17th Amendment, what basically happened was that the state representatives they elected the senators, and this is a much better system because the entire uh, do I even have MS Paint? I don't know how to draw this. If people were here, I'd draw it. But the entire reason for the system that was set up by the founding fathers was to promote fair elections, fair representation, and have it so people's rights are actually carried out. Because I need you to understand this, like people throw around democracy nowadays like it's a good word. Democracy is not a good thing. Democracy is mob rule, and what is the most popular policy is not always the most beneficial for the state, beneficial for the people. It doesn't always represent everyone's interest. Like I'm telling you, we don't want democracy because if we lived in a democracy, the 1960s Civil Rights Act would not be passed because it was not popular. It was passed because people stood up, they mobilized, and they got their legislators to change these things. And I mean, it could be the same thing as the 19th Amendment. Like these good policies that are generally recognized as good wouldn't be passed. And that's the whole reason for a republic. We don't want a democracy. We want to elect individuals who represent our interests and represent the interests of everybody, not just us. Like that's the entire point of it. But a republic can only work if the populace is educated, which this is a whole nother issue. The populace of the United States is not educated at all, but um, it is very, very frustrating. It's very, very sad, and I don't know, like there are much deeper issues in terms of politics than who's president. There's much deeper issues because when the 17th Amendment was passed, it basically stops the state representatives from electing the senators, and it made corporations basically allowed to lobby and promote, you know, entire nation issues, entire country issues, instead of entire state issues. So like think of like popular senators, popular, you know, House of Representative individuals like they should only be representing their constituencies. They shouldn't be worried about what the rest of the country's doing. Maybe they can look to it and see what other people are doing just to promote the best policy. But like I feel like more often than not, people are voting on things that don't benefit their constituency and they're voting on things that benefit the party. And I really think that a lot of this stems from the fact that like these people are funded by corporations and not funded and not elected by their state representatives. It's really, really sad. And like if you look into the history of this country, if you look into the founding of this country, Ben Franklin, after the Constitution was signed and passed into law, the mayor of Philadelphia's wife asked Ben Franklin, "What kind of government do we have?" And he said, "We have a republic if we can keep it. And if we can keep it, that is some of the most haunting words we face on a daily basis because every day we get less and less educated. Every day we get less and less represented. And it seems like our representatives are out for themselves and not out for us. And I mean, there's only a few things that can be done. We can obviously vote, we can do things like that, but I think the system's too far gone. I think we need to educate ourselves as a populace and demand more and demand that our representatives are actually carrying out our will, are actually doing the things which we elect them to do, or we should recall them. But all these things, these concerns only get solved when people start educating themselves. So that's why I just don't believe in voting in mass because I don't think people will ever educate themselves. I don't think people will ever do more than a cursory understanding of the Constitution, will ever do a more cursory understanding of the Bill of Rights and all of the amendments and everything that goes into it. What's good? Yeah, I was talking about politics. I don't know if that's interesting to you. I have like a really good understanding of politics, but I just hate it. And it's very, very frustrating because I can bring all of these things up. I can talk about what I've been talking about, and people still won't see the issue with it. Like it all comes back to education. It all comes back to are you willing to read the model penal code, the laws that govern you, everything that goes into what dictates what you can and can't do in your life, and understand these and understand why we're not being represented fairly. Our elected representatives aren't doing what they should to represent us. They're representing the interests of corporations, and like nobody's going to do the due diligence. Everyone's just going to say, "Wow, uh, Trump killed Roe v. Wade." And it's like that's not even how it works, and that's not even that's just not a good argument because the basis for Roe v. Wade being overturned comes from a constitutional issue. It's is the right to I don't know if I can say that or not. Is the right to this medical procedure, as certain people call it, is that a fundamental right given to us in the Constitution? And it's not really clear. And that's the thing, like the courts shouldn't really be deciding legislation. They shouldn't really be deciding these things. I mean, that was Ruth Bader Ginsburg's argument. I mean, what's happening in America is just the war chest is getting pillaged, basically. Like, America's been one of the richest countries in the world for so long, and basically, like, that comes with people wanting to take advantage of this. That comes with people wanting to eat away at the funds and eat away at all of these services. And like, I mean, dude, like we spend so much money on the government, like on government spending in terms of military, in terms of like all of this other crazy stuff, and it's like there's people in our country who are suffering from natural disasters, and we're sending more money for war than we are to take care of our own people, and it's like the people that are paying for these, ammunitions and all of these machines and all of these things used for war, it's the same people that are suffering right now. And it's just really sad. Like it really is like it's just like, does the government even care about you or do they care about, you know, And again, it's a certain balance. Like you can't just like we live in a day and age where you can't really just, you know, denuclearize, de what's the word? You can't just like get rid of all your defense capabilities, but it's just it's still it's like they're finding money for everything except their own people, and it's really really sad. Bro, Andrew Tate didn't do anything. What are you talking about? What? Bro, he's just a snake oil salesman. He's not. Maybe he made some good points, but he's not having. It's not like Andrew Tate didn't expose the flaw. Like, dude, there's so many more influential people in terms of like talking about the system. I mean, you know, have you read George Orwell? Have you read anybody like Dwight D. Eisenhower? He was literally the president of the United States, and in the 1950s, he said, "We have to be aware of the war machine, which is the military-industrial complex." Like that's not Andrew Tate does not even compare to the influence of the president of the United States saying that. Like I mean, maybe for you personally, but for the world at large, like I don't agree with that point. Like there's much bigger voices. I mean, we can look to Julian Assange, we can look to um, other people who have criticized the U.S. government and who have faced the consequences. It's not even close to the same level. Like there's a huge difference. There's a huge difference. What do you mean? The whole truth is all it's all right there. It's just are people willing to go and look for it? And that's the thing. It's not usually worth it. Like, would you rather spend all your time and energy like exposing the system or just, you know, setting your life up in a way where you don't face the system? Like it's like you're never gonna change the system because the system's just people. And most people are not willing to change. Like is it even worth it to put the time and energy into that, or is it more worth it to put the time and energy into yourself, into your family, into living a righteous life, and maybe through that you could be the example. But like I've never seen any good come from trying to change the world. I mean, maybe Cicero might be the only example of somebody that positively affected change from the inside. I think Cicero is a great example, but he lived 2,000 years ago. Like it's not. It's like one good man in 2,000 years. Maybe Napoleon, but Napoleon also had his flaws. So it's like he didn't start a civil war in Britain, dude. They've been importing people from third world countries for like 20 years, 30 years. It's not like it's also not as bad as you think it is. You're just seeing the headlines on social media. What do you think about manifesting a specific person? You mean um like if you want to like a girl you know, you want her to be your girlfriend, is that what you're talking about? What you can do is, I don't even know if this would be considered manifestation. It might be considered just changing your ideas, changing your self-image. But like we think we all have imaginary perceptions of how people view us in our minds. Like for me, for the longest time, I always thought my dad was like angry about the path I was taking, angry about the things I was doing, and I really just started changing those conversations in my head. Like I would just imagine like if I went home, like what he would say to me, and then I change it up and saying like, "Oh my God, Tom, I'm so proud of you. Like I really think you're going down a good path. You're so much smarter than you used to be. Like, it seems like you're finding yourself, and even if it's not clear, I think you're going down a good path." And it's like that alone has changed my relationship with my father in the past like month or so. Like the last time I saw him, he was literally just talking good of me, but in my head for years and years and years, he was talking negative of me. And we can actively change these things. We can actively change um, our perception of this. Law of assumption, I mean, it's even if you don't believe in the mystical aspect of the law of assumption, you need to give credit to the fact of like, if you think that you are, I don't know what your goal is, but Michael Jordan thought he was the greatest basketball player far before he ever was. And this is what allowed him to, continue to put in the effort, continue to put in the work. Like, I'm telling you, he probably had thousands of setbacks, but he always was like, you know what, I'm the best. And one day it's going to show, but it might not show right now. And the more you can think from that end state, the more you can think from that state that you already have what you want, the more those ideas are just going to pop in your head. So like before I do any stream, before I do any video, like I literally just imagine myself opening my phone and seeing whatever amount of subscribers I want, whatever amount of, attention that I want. Like, and even if it doesn't work, even if it doesn't get me that notoriety, even if it doesn't get me that fame, I'm still speaking like somebody that has, you know, a million subscribers or 2 million. Like, you know what I mean? I have 1,000 subscribers on the channel. Am I talking like someone that has 1,000 subscribers, or am I talking like someone that has millions. Like that's, I mean, that's up for you to decide. Like I don't know, but like I feel like I'm talking much more confidently than someone that has this level of success. So take that with what you will. Dude, just because they're talking about him, that just means it's an easy scapegoat. That doesn't mean really anything. Like it's the same thing with Alex Jones in this country. Like the reason why they censored Alex Jones off Twitter first is because it's the easiest person to censor. And then once they censor him, then they can censor the next guy. Then they can censor Milo. Then they can censor I don't know who are the other big people that got nuked off Twitter, but it's like you always have to find one person that's like has extreme views, and then you can go boom, 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 boom. It's like a string of things. It's like connect the dots. So I don't necessarily like think it's a good argument. If I still have some thoughts of doubt. See, the thing is, I need you to, okay, this is gonna sound like not advice, but this truly works. If you have doubt, just realize that it doesn't matter. Like however much you doubt, realize that you already asked for that and it's coming. Now, how long it takes, that's up for debate. Now, how long it takes for this thing to come true, I mean, it could be a year, it could be 10 years, it could be tomorrow. So like whatever doubt you have, just know it doesn't matter. And it's like a spiral. Like if you give credit to the doubt, then it becomes credible. It becomes, it controls you. But if you just realize that it doesn't matter, then it doesn't. Like it's just so crazy how that works. And it's also think about what you've been doing your whole life. Like the things haven't been falling into place magically. Things haven't been falling into place, and like you really have no right to believe that it's going to work out, but just believe it's going to work out. And as you continue to get yourself in these states of consciousness, as you continue to strengthen the images in your mind and the imagination and whatever visuals are going on as you're falling into sleep, like that's going to get clearer and clearer when you wake up. Like when I first started trying these things out, when I first started doing these things, like I would wake up and I'd still be stressed out. Now I wake up and I'm relaxed. So it's like it gets easier and easier and easier, and like you'll almost feel a shift in who you are. Like who I am today is not even close to who I was 2 weeks ago. And even before that, 2 weeks before that, like I was way more stressed out than I am now. So it's like just keep doing it, and it's gonna get easier and easier and easier and easier. And like the moment that you 100% convince yourself, the moment that there's no doubt is the moment that this comes true. But don't worry about doubt. Don't worry about being stressed out. Like there's the ebb and flow, and like just go with the mood. Try to direct it into something good, and yeah, that's all you can do. Yeah, doubts and lies must be ignored. I mean, I don't even think you necessarily have to ignore them. I just think just don't give much attention to them. Just be like, it doesn't matter if I doubt it because I already asked for it. Like every single prayer, every single thought, every single image that you put in your head is eventually going to come true. And if you doubt it, that just prolongs how long it's going to take. It doesn't mean it's not going to come. So just be like, oh, whatever. Like maybe I might doubt it, but it could still be here tomorrow. It could still be here today. Like it's just it is what it is, and it gets easier every time. Have you heard of the knot method too? So this one gets rid of the doubt. Um, like if you wanna like get something and it's not working out for whatever reason, you could just say, I'm not rich. I'm not this. But like the easiest example I think is try to not do what I'm about to say. I do not want you to picture a $5 bill. I do not want you to picture $100 bill. You probably just thought of $100 bill. Like there's just something weird about your mind where like if I tell you not to do something, you're immediately gonna think of it. So like if you can start finding ways to almost trick yourself into not feeling any pressure, not feeling any anxiety, that's where the ideas can really form. Because I mean, the reason why we can't get our desired states is because we have doubt, is because we have fear. But like, you need to make it seem fun. You need to make it seem like it's enjoyable. Like, the moment it becomes serious, the moment it becomes like, I need this money today, or things aren't going to work out, like, that's the moment it's not going to come. That's the moment it's going to stay away from you. But if you're just like, well, I don't need money. I'm already rich. I don't need fame. I already have millions of subscribers. I don't need views. I already have millions of them. Like when I say statements like this, it creates images in my head and it doesn't put any pressure on it. It doesn't put any anxiety on it. It doesn't put any doubt on it. And I think that's one of the best ways to do it if you're feeling particularly anxious that day, if you're feeling particularly scared that day. Yeah, yeah. If you can make everything a positive statement too. Like for me, there was like this bill that I was worried about, and I just kept saying like I don't need to worry about this. I already figured it out. I don't need to I have the means to pay for this. I have the means to fix this. Like and literally it just got sorted out yesterday. It's like it's so weird and it's so uncanny like how much we can do with our mind, but we're just not accepting the abilities of it. And it's to just literally, if you have faith in one thing, have faith in your mind. Like it's really crazy what can happen when you use the power of your higher faculties combined with whatever wisdom you have today. Like it's you can do anything. You really can do anything. And I really hate that we're not taught these things. I really hate that we're not taught that like your mind controls everything. So like if you don't like where you are right now, like you can change it. Like everyone is going through life unconsciously. Everyone's going through life being affected by everything else. But when you learn that you can start to change these things, when you learn that you can start to affect these things, like that, that's the most inspiring thing I've ever heard. That's literally the best thing I've ever heard. And it's learning how to control it. It's learning how to consciously direct the course of your life, which is really one of the greatest ideas I've stumbled upon. And I'm like 50-50 on if it's like mystical. I'm 50-50 on if it's like things become attracted to you or if you just get the ideas. I think it's a mix of both. And that's the beautiful thing of this. Like you can explain it in a context that an atheist would understand, and then you can explain it in a context that a religious person would understand. Reframing, deconstructing. Yeah, yeah. I was reading today in a book, it was basically saying that like if you are faced with something that you are very scared about, if you just write down the steps of it, it always becomes a lot less scary. Right? It's all perspective. Yeah, yeah. I think it was William James said the the facts aren't as important as the attitude. Like the attitude you take to the facts is what shapes it. Like I think I said this example the other day, but this is my favorite one. Like there could be two different paths from someone whose father's an alcoholic. Like some people might say, my father's an alcoholic, so that's why I drink. And then another guy will say, my father's an alcoholic, so that's why I don't drink. Like it's the same set of facts, it's the same circumstance, the same trauma, but people choose to take things different ways. And like one could be productive and one could be destructive. Like it's really just I mean, if you want to know what Stoicism and most of the philosophies are, it's literally just applying reason to the facts to rationalize them, to understand them, to see that everything happens for a reason and you're supposed to learn a lesson from it. You're supposed to grow from it. Like happiness doesn't happen without sorrow. Like if you had a happy day every single day, then that would be meaningless. It would literally be terrible because you'd just be going through days and you'd be getting bored. All is mind, iron spirit. Have you read Thomas Troward? Is that what you're saying? That's what that reminds me of. But yeah, and also like um it's a lot easier to doubt yourself during the day, but I think the cheat code to get over that as well is to fall asleep in the state of what you want to be. So like just imagine how it would feel, imagine what your family would say, imagine the surroundings, like the exact like try to make the picture as clear as possible. And the more you can convince yourself as you're falling asleep, the more you can convince yourself while you're going day to day. And like we're all impressing our subconscious at all times, but the thing is like what you fall asleep with is impressing your subconscious the entire night. So that's why it's the most powerful then because it's not getting bombarded with everything that you're going through the day with. So like if you can just consciously like as you're going to sleep, maybe meditate, maybe do the you go through your day in reverse order thing and then you start doing your you start experiencing what it is that you want to be like then you fall asleep like it's just you're gonna wake up and it's gonna be 10 times easier because you impressed your subconscious with better ideas. But anytime you feel any sort of doubt too, a cheat code to get out of it, and this goes with anything, this goes with any stress, any issue, just in terms of manifestation. But if you sit down and meditate, focus on your breath, or if you go on a walk and you really just clear your head, um, when you get into this state where nothing's in your brain, then you can immediately say like, okay, I'm going to smile. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to, take things for what they are. I'm going to start telling myself that, I'm a millionaire. I'm rich. I'm wealthy. Like whatever affirmation you want to give yourself, like when you empty your mind, it's so much easier to impress your subconscious. So think of it like a mini state of sleep. So it's almost the same thing. Sleep is like complete no mental function, but you can kind of hack it while you're still awake. I just breathe through my nose. I don't know if that's, I'm not, I shouldn't say that. I don't think that's good advice. I don't want people dying on me here. Do what you want. I don't know. I don't know about Hypnodio is what he's saying, but to each their own, I guess. I posted a video about, I think it was something about knowledge, and somebody was like, I gave myself a psychotic break through meditating. Like, how do you even do that? That's like, what? What does that even mean? I've heard that that could happen, but I don't know where it comes from. And I just like, it's probably like if you're gonna have a psychotic break and you meditate too much, then it just forces it to happen. I don't know. Um, I would have to read more about that or look into it. I've never experienced anything like, I've never had any negative effects from meditation. That's crazy. But I've heard this from several people that it can make you crazy. I don't know how, but like literally to me, meditation is just shutting off your mind because your mind doesn't always have to be active. Your mind's like it's a tool. It's something that basically gets formed from childhood because your mind is only active when you're away from yourself, when you're unconscious, when your conscious and your unconscious are split when you're developing a shadow. Like it all has to do with ego and awareness and presence. And the more you live for others, the more you sacrifice to be part of society, the more your mind is active. But the more you're just at peace with yourself, the more you're integrated, like your mind will run less and less and less. And like it's weird because my mind used to go crazy like most of the day, and I'd be like I'd either be really happy or really upset, and now it's just like I don't have thoughts most of the day. And like you might just say I'm an idiot, you might just say I got special needs or something, but like it's so much better than just having like frantic ideas or just, the most inspiring thoughts or just the most destructive thoughts. Like it's even keel, which is just awesome. You start to question reality, consciousness too much, your sense of reality and self ego. I mean, I don't really believe in ego, so ego's who society tells you to be. Ego's not you. Just like your name's not you. Like I'm not what it says on my birth certificate. I'm so much more than that. And like the the average individual doesn't understand this, and this is why the average individual suffers with so many issues because all depression is a misalignment between who you authentically are and who you represent yourself to be. And when we can start to represent ourselves authentically, that's when we can be the most happy. But so many people are so misaligned with who they really are that they can't help but be neurotic. They can't help but be unhappy. It's kind of sad, it really is. The worst thing is like the advice for men is like you need to go in the gym. It'll cure your depression. It's like it might, but it might also just bury a lot of other issues. Like for me, I went to the gym, got in good shape, and I was like, now what? Like I'm still not happy. Like I still can't get a happy relationship. I still don't have, the means to support myself. And then you realize it's like, oh wait, it's not just it's not just feeling good. It's also having purpose. It's also being driven on something. I was reading a book, I think yesterday, and it was basically saying that like if you have a sense of purpose, if you have a sense of meaning, like you have 10 times more energy than somebody who is just going through the motions, who is just, doing a Excel spreadsheet. But like when there's something behind it, when you can assign some value to it, when you can put yourself forward in that work, that's when you have the most happiness. You go into how to be more authentic. I mean, this is like a person to person thing, but like I just wanted to ask yourself, like, when you were a child, like what did you enjoy doing? Like the easiest way to find your authentic self is to like look into who you were as a child and look at who you are now. Like most of us were like excited, bubbly. I mean, I was really imaginative when I was a child, and like 2 years ago when I was my most unhappy, maybe it was 3 years ago, like I was basically like, I have to just put my nose down. I have to push through everything. And I was like, literally no expression at all, literally no creativity at all. And like, that's where a lot of it comes from. A lot of it comes from just not being yourself. And like, I know that's not a good answer, but like, look at and analyze your relationships, analyze where they broke down, analyze the traits that you look for in a partner. And those are the biggest indications of what you're not doing. So like, for me, for the longest time, like, I mean, I'm a good looking guy, tall, athletic. Um, if you think I'm smart, most people think I'm smart. I don't know if you want to classify me as smart, but like intelligent. I'm gonna have a great career. I'm gonna be very successful. But it's like I literally had everything except myself. Like I had literally everything, and I was always looking for someone that was very supportive, very caring, would tend to my every need. And it's like those are traits you're looking for in yourself. And the reason why you're not working out in all these relationships is because you're looking for something from somebody else that you have to give to yourself. So like once I started cutting myself some slack, once I started supporting myself, once I started saying like it's okay to fail, like it's okay to, not have it all figured out. It's okay to do all these things. Like you don't have to take yourself so seriously. Like everything just dropped. All my anxiety, all my stress, all my sadness just disappeared, and like what just poof. And it's like I mean we can all find purpose in different things, and we can all find meaning in different things, and it's really more of a personal question. And um yeah, it's really just from spending time with yourself, finding out what you truly want. Another thing for me was like for most of my life, I would go out to bars and it was like I'm somebody that just likes to stick to myself. Like I'm either antisocial, I'm the most social person, but I would force myself to go out every weekend because I wanted to be liked by everyone. I wanted everyone to, um, you know, think I was cool and think I was popular and think I was good. And it was like, I mean, that all stemmed from me not feeling like I belonged as a child. And like when you just come to terms with yourself and you're like, wow, I only care about myself. That's that's when things are just like, oh, I don't need to please anybody else except myself. If I want to stay in and watch YouTube videos all night, that's what I'm gonna do. If I want to stay in and stream, that's what I'm gonna do. And I mean, I don't know if that's a good answer. I don't know if that's a good answer. I usually have a better answer for that, but I think at the time that's just what came to mind. But also journal. I think not journal for the sense of like every day you have to journal, but like I mean, if you want to do it now, if you want to do it after stream, like just find a time where you're going to set aside like 10 minutes, and in these 10 minutes I just want you to write like what is your ideal life? Like if there was no if there was no considerations of money, if there was no issues with funds or time or anything, like what would you be doing? And the more you can align yourself with that, the more you can start to figure out what it is in your life that you need to do. And um I mean, we could talk about habits too. We could talk about like most of us spend all day on our screens and we don't spend any time doing the things that we actually love. And of course, you're going to feel inauthentic because you're looking at everyone else with millions of dollars, millions of followers, all of these things, and you're actively creating like an anger toward yourself because you don't have any of these things. So it's like there's all these different angles to hit at it, but the most beneficial thing I would say is to just sit down with yourself and ask yourself like, what are things I used to love to do, and why am I not doing them anymore? And like, if you want to try something, try it. Like, there's so many friends that have talked to me about starting training MMA, and I'm just like, just do it. Because like, you might not like it or you might love it, but like, it's a side of yourself that is just waiting to be explored, but you haven't explored it. Like, it's almost like a trial and error thing. It's what Jung called the individuation process. Like, we all have to go out there and just try things and see what sticks, see what we enjoy, see what is really what we want to do. And like until we try these things, we can never really know because I never thought like jujitsu, MMA, kickboxing would become such a big part of my life, but it really has like it really has changed me in different ways. And it's not just like the cringe advice of like, oh, jujitsu helped me through depression. It's like, no, like I always wanted a physical challenge and now I can get physical challenge without going to jail. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's like there's all these activities that we could try to do that can bring us happiness, but so many people just do the conventional thing of, oh, I'm gonna go on TikTok because my friends go on TikTok. Oh, I'm gonna go out to parties because my friends go out to parties. I'm gonna do all these things that I don't really like to do because I want to fit in. Just say fuck fitting in and just do what you want to do. I mean, as long as it's not against the law. Just find find righteous ways to discover yourself. That's really the easiest way to say it. To treat myself like an IRL RuneScape. Bro, you're really dating yourself here. I barely know what RuneScape is. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, it's there's I feel like there's phases in life. Like I cannot wait to get to the phase where I'm like raising a family. I feel like that's just gonna be such a fun shift because like the more I like study this shit, the more I'm just like, all right, like there's gonna be a day and age where like nothing really bothers me, but like how am I gonna deal with being responsible for other people? How am I gonna deal with being responsible not just for myself, not for my own shit, but like for someone who is like fundamentally like part of me, like they have part of my DNA. Like I think that's an interesting question. I guess it's just gonna be something I find out in the future. Hopefully that answered the question though. I don't know if that long tangent made it better, made it worse. I don't know. That's the problem. I feel like sometimes I go at questions and like I might make it a deeper question than it really has to be. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. When it happens, you'll be ready. I hope so. I mean, I guess we can only be as ready as I don't know. I don't know. Can we ever be ready, or do we always have to just step up and find something with it ourselves? What's your opinion on atheism? I think atheism is people who um don't really understand what faith is. Like, because atheism is faith that there's nothing. Atheism is faith in science. It's faith that there's nothing. So there's faith that's something. And I think it's really hard to be an atheist and find meaning, find purpose. And my heart goes out to anybody that, can't look to something better, can't look to an example. Like, I'm a Christian, but I can look to Jesus and be like, okay, like in times of struggle, like I know there's a lot worse. I know that I can make it through. I know I've been gifted with the same ability, the same strength, the same power. And I think it's almost sad because like they hit on a good point. They hit on the fact that religions limit the individual, that set doctrines, that set beliefs kind of stunt the person from actually becoming an individual. And I think religious systems are good up until a certain point when you want to ask questions, when you want to question why certain interpretations were certain things, and then you go off into the heretical category. Like people don't respect you, but it's like religion is a personal journey, and that's what I don't think atheists understand. I think they have to fit into one box, but it's like you don't have to. Like we can all find our sources of strength in different people, and as long as we're being good people, then it's not it's not an issue. And like I mean, the other problem with it is like the entire point of atheism is like shitting on Western morality, shitting on like, oh my God, look at the Catholic Church, look at all the crimes. Like, why would God create a world where, all these horrible things happen? But it's like we were gifted with free will, and it's not God's will that creates these things. It's the free will of individuals. And I mean, who knows? Like maybe these people that were, taken advantage of were put in that position so that could be inspiration to others. Maybe these people were put in that so that they could, come back in a better way in a certain context. They believe in themselves and they worship their desires when they refuse. I mean, it's not right, but again, it's like, who's to say what's right and wrong aside from the individual? Like everything to a varying degree can be considered good or bad. Like, I mean, like you have to look at I mean, Mother Teresa is a good example. Like, Mother Teresa spent her entire life trying to do good, but like, there's still some people in this world that view her as evil. Like, I mean, Bill Gates has been trying to cure the world of all these diseases, but like, he just got hit with a lawsuit. I don't know if I can say this. There was a lawsuit that involved like 500,000 people suing him for being paralyzed. Like, you know what I mean? No matter what good you try to bring in the world, there's going to be some bad. Like, it's just how things work, and it's all just a sliding scale. And I mean that we can criticize people who haven't accepted that like we're on this world to benefit each other. We're on the world to lift all of each other up because we're all fundamentally the same. Like we could criticize people like that all day, but it's the same. I mean, it's the same thing. Like nothing's gonna get done from it. Can their personality be analyzed as having a divine complex? I mean, we all have God in us. I don't think that that's a. I just think atheists are confused because they don't understand that the same faith they have in no God is the same faith that religious people have in God. It's literally the same thing. Like they literally just replaced one God with another. They replaced one God with nothing. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I'd rather believe in something than nothing. Like, can you look at your mother and say that's chemicals? Can you look at your mother and be like, the love I feel for her, the affection I feel for her is just random chemicals firing in my brain that science can't understand? I don't know. But atheists for some reason have dying faith that there's no spiritual component, that there's no tie to the bond you feel with your mother to anything more than just chemicals that science can't explain. Science can't explain where consciousness comes from. Science can't explain where your stomach bacteria, like how that's formed and how that operates and how the processes of the body work. Like science can't cure diseases. Science can't cure any of these things. Like millions and billions of dollars get put every single year to all of these funds, and like there's still atheists that believe science disproves God and all of these other like it's the same belief that you have to believe in God is the same as atheism. So it's really just I don't really get that. Atheists are usually lazy in my experience. I don't know if they're lazy. Like Nietzsche wasn't lazy. Nietzsche was just a person that couldn't find anything better than himself. He couldn't find anything better than himself to believe in, which is kind of sad because like it's inherently like a selfish perspective because if you believe you're alone in the universe, if you just believe you're a product of natural selection and all of these things, like it's just lonely, man. But if you see yourself in every other person in this entire world, then you want to help everyone out. It's really, really weird. Yeah, they have faith in the same doctors that told them smoking cigarettes were good for them in the what was it, the 50s? They had faith in the advertisers who, basically programmed women to start smoking cigarettes by just saying it was like a empowering thing. Like I genuinely don't get the thought process, but it's like it's the same thing as the religious fanatics who kill people in the name of God. Like I mean, it's two sides of the same coin. Like it's always better to have a more like grounded approach, a more holistic approach than just taking things too far in one direction. Because I'll tell you, like I used to be way too much into spiritual. I used to be way too concerned about spiritual enlightenment, and like there were times where I was like, okay, if I keep going down this path, I literally will become enlightened. Like I don't necessarily want that. Like I want to be myself. I want to be who I am. Like I don't know if I'm ready for that in this lifetime. I mean, he could just be pulling a Socrates. You know why Socrates was considered the smartest man who ever lived? This is a great story if you haven't heard it. But you're gonna spoil it, so I'm just gonna start telling it because I know you already know. But basically, Socrates, the Oracle of Delphi, which is, I mean, this is back in the days where they believed in the stars more than anything. They believed in destiny, and before any great hero would go on a great quest, they'd go to the Oracle. So like, it really was just a source of guidance. And someone asked the Oracle, "Who is the smartest man who ever lived? Who is the smartest man living right now?" And the oracle says Socrates, and they go to Socrates and they're telling him this, and he's like, "I'm not the smartest man who ever lived. I know nothing." And all of these people are getting all angry. They're getting so up in arms. They go back to the oracle. They're like, "The so-called smartest man said that he's not smart. He doesn't know anything." And the oracle goes, "That's why." Like the reason why Socrates was so smart is because he had no conceptions of anything. He was willing to hear everybody out. He was willing to see every perspective, and it was through this wisdom that made him the smartest. It wasn't the things that he could recite. It wasn't the dates that he could tell people. It wasn't the facts he read from other people that made him smart. It was his own wisdom. It was his own personality and his way of asking questions to get to the deeper root of things. So I love Socrates. The stories are so cool. I mean, criticism of religion is necessary, and that's why Nietzsche is necessary. Like, I don't particularly like Nietzsche. I don't particularly like his worldview, but he's the best critic of um, religion, and it really makes you evaluate it from a new perspective. Like Nietzsche he has an uncanny way of poking holes in things that you have believed your entire life, and it strengthens your argument. So, like, if anything, it's a necessary thing to strengthen your faith. Like, what is it? What does it mean when you just debate someone with blue hair on, the ideas of God and the ideas of, fairness and all these other things? Like, it's so stupid when you see Ben Shapiro debating these high schoolers and these college students. Like, dude, like debate somebody that will make you think. Debate somebody that can poke holes in your argument. Debate somebody that can actually stand their ground and has a equally strong argument on their side. Like, it takes strong arguments to make your argument stronger. It takes strong arguments to make your faith deeper, and it's almost a necessary thing. Like criticism is necessary. Like, dude, the reason why I can be so good on camera and so interesting on camera and all these things is because I've had so many negative comments. Anytime anyone criticizes me, I take it to heart. Well, I don't take it to heart. That's the wrong saying. I understand where they're coming from. If somebody doesn't like my messaging, that means I have to soften it because it's getting lost in translation. Like I used to be 10 times more aggressive with the way I said things, and I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter how aggressively I say this if, only two out of 10 people like resonated with it more. Like I don't need to be the next David Goggins. I need to be the next me. And I wanna speak to as many people as possible. I wanna influence as many people as possible, not for the sake of myself, but for the sake of me spreading my ideas. And the better I can express myself, the better people can, at least take a new perspective away. If they don't like what I say, that's fine. But I'd rather more people listen to me and more people be willing to listen to me than I say a word, I say something that upsets people, and they tune out. Like I mean, it's like the Trump thing. Like nobody ever listens to Trump because they have such a preconceived notion of him. Like the way he says things is so crass. The way he approaches situations is so like aggressive that half the country won't listen to him. I don't want that. I want to be able to talk to everybody. I want to be able to learn from everybody. I want everybody to be able to at least take away a new view of things from me. Like you don't have to agree with me, but just hear me out. Go deeper than the first 20 seconds until I say something that is, you know, different to your beliefs. That's that's my ideas on these things. But atheists judge by their emotions with the research. Dude, researchers judge by emotions too. Researchers judge by emotions and who is willing to pay for these studies. Like there's all sorts of studies that are buried online because they offend somebody. They talk about a uncomfortable truth that exists in humanity, and the study might cause a lot of good, but it's going to harm the reputation of the journal, harm the reputation of the scientist. Like there's all of these things that go into it. I don't necessarily think that's a good argument. Like I think everybody makes arguments off of emotion, and that's the big issue with most people. Like if I have a disagreement with somebody, I don't dislike them. I might not like the way they're taking it, but I'll never go ad hominem. I'll never say like, "Oh, you're a loser." Like, you know what I mean? It's just most religions go beyond emotion and reason. I mean, not really. It's like religions are just what you make of it. Like I can read a religious text, and if I'm not that religion, it doesn't mean anything to me. So I don't know if that's it more so means something to a believer. So like that's the issue with like when you have somebody trying to argue Christianity with another religion, it's like it doesn't do anything. Like I can't cite the Bible if I'm arguing with a Muslim, with a Jew. Like that doesn't mean anything to them. Like it only means something to me. So it's like I think we have to get much less concerned with what other people are thinking and see what we can take away from their arguments, see what we can take away from their ideas. Like I might not like Nietzsche, I might not support the things he did as an individual, but I can take away his perspective and I can use them to strengthen my argument. I can use them to understand what an atheist is going to say to me. Like, I mean, the number one atheist argument is, why would God allow so much sorrow in the world? And it's like, it's an easy question for me to answer, but most people are stumped. And it's, you can only be able to answer these questions when you understand them, when you understand where they're coming from. Like, it's almost like a necessary evil. But bottom line, the arguing really doesn't do anything. Having disagreements doesn't really do anything. You can tell if an argument or disagreement is going to go anywhere based off of their response. And a lot of times I try to, you know, teach people a different perspective, but a lot of times they can't see it. So if they can't see they can't view it from your lens, then it's not even worth your time. Just give in, just, walk away. It's always the better option. Like, I mean, I'm impartial when it comes to politics, but I always try to educate the person on the other side. I always try to make them, ease up on maybe some of their opinions to see if they're able to make a conscious argument, or are they unconsciously just following what, CNN says, what Fox News says. Like, it's more of a reflection of the individual, their capacity to exercise perspective than it is on you. Because bottom line, no one's going to change my mind. You can teach me a new worldview, you can teach me a new thing, but you're not going to change my mind. Like, it would be very, very difficult, and you'd have to bring an entire new experience to me. Like, you'd have to explain your entire life story to even have the, I don't know, persuasion to be able to do that. So to me, that is related to emotion because I believe that the soul is the main driver of all the body's feelings. What drives in the soul? I mean, that's just like you can only really speculate on stuff like that. Like, I think we all have different motivations. I think we all have different things, and it's really for you to answer that question. You can't really define that one. I mean, we have the physical desires, we have the desire for food, we have the desire to reproduce, and then that's what we faced for most of humanity. And then when we got civilized, when we got closer into, bro, stop saying shit like that in the chat. When we get more civilized, we don't have to worry about food or reproduction, so we worry about meaning and purpose. And how do you find meaning and purpose if you already have the baseline necessities, if you already have the baseline things? And I think the only answer is through expression, through creativity, through finding meaning in other things, through finding meaning through other individuals. Like, you look at all these billionaires, and what do they do towards the end of their life? They give away most of their money. And I mean, that really just shows that, like, I mean, we can talk about, yeah, they cut taxes, they do this, they do that, but like, I mean, these people also feel genuinely good. Like maybe there's some stuff weighing on their conscience. That's why they do this. But I know what you're saying. Don't. This is just an example. We're not getting into the details of all these foundations. But I'm saying, like, when people like make a lot of money, they immediately give back in the end. Like, and it's just like we find that purpose is through other people, not through us. I can see you have a moderator. Yeah. Don't say anything crazy, or you're gonna get banned. I have a few moderators now, I think. I don't know how many are in here right now. I can't see. I'd have to see them chat. Good luck getting that paper published. That's demoted. Demote what? Yeah, I don't ever believe that a drug can fix the root of, depression. Like depression it's a soul issue. It's not a physical issue. You can try to trick the body, but the soul controls the mind and the body. The body can affect the mind and then affect the soul, but it can't affect the soul directly. Muslims will read scripture, possibly because Jesus would have been around something. Yeah, again, though, I don't. I think if you need scripture to argue, I think you're not well versed enough in the subjects because I mean it's like Jesus taught in parables for a reason. Jesus taught in parables to teach not just believers but non-believers. It's part of my paper synchronicity. Bro got plenty of moderators. I have more than just this. I think I have four. I don't know where the other ones are. They betrayed me. How could you guys? I don't even remember who the other ones are. Well, I do, but I don't want to say their names in case they don't want me to say. Yeah, synchronicity is crazy, right? Yeah. I was arguing with one of my friends. I love how I was saying like 20 minutes ago, I never argue. But he was trying to tell me that the Bible is a literal text, and I'm like, dude, Jesus taught in parables, and he's like, oh, and like he had nothing to say after that. I was like, bro, like 4-year-olds know this. I don't know. I wish people were capable of individual thought and not group think. I mean, to a certain extent, we all are controlled by collective consciousness, but to a certain extent, we can sprinkle in our own ideas. Like, I don't know. I was just reading a book by Jung, and I was realizing like Jung could have went anywhere with his information. Like, he could have became a preacher. He could have became a cult leader. He could have became like a salesman. Like, it's really the application and how he chose to use it. And it's interesting because I was really thinking about it. I'm like, I bet me and Jung have read a lot of the same books, a lot of the same things, and are filled with a lot of the same ideas. I mean, parables are not allegory directly, but it's similar. Parables are just stories that tell things, and allegory is just steeping something in symbolism so that there's a second meaning, right? I came up with that definition on the fly. If it's wrong, don't blame me. We're streaming for an hour and a half. Yeah, dude, it's also like, I mean, when that, you could choose to take it in a bad way or a good way. Like, if, all right, do you have a TV in your room? This is gonna sound weird. If you have a TV in your room, cover it with like a blanket or something before you go to bed. The influences around you are evident of either of a healthy psyche or an unhealthy psyche. So like if you hear a bump in the night and you get scared, like that means that you're just inherently fearful and you're unconscious. But if you just hear a bump and go back to sleep, then you're positive. You see, back to my point. He's not a Muslim, so it means nothing to him. There's no deeper meaning. The meaning is what we assign. I mean, if that stuff's happening to you, then it's just like it is what it is. You can't really. I mean, go to an exorcist if it's really scaring you that bad. I don't know what to tell you. Like, the thing is, these things can't affect like paranormal activities. They can't affect you if your aura is clear, if your aura is healed. Like the only way that these things can contact you if they can affect your life is if you're in a weakened state. So it's like people that take drugs, people that um, are depressed, all of these things like they can only really affect you when you're weak. I mean, it's the same thing as why you don't get sick when you are in a really good mood. Like, when have you ever been in a really good mood, not stressed out, and get sick? It's always after weeks and weeks of stress where you like get a cold. So it's like if you can just try to start changing more positive, start being just more relaxed, it's gonna go a very long way. You guys wanna? I think I'm gonna go to like 8:15. You guys wanna talk about anything specific for like the last 40 minutes? I think we touched on a lot of really interesting things. So um, the thing I love about these is these give me so many ideas for videos. Like, because I can always like I don't know. I think Mark asked me a question once, and it was something about integrating the unconscious. I just didn't know what he meant during it, and then it gave me an idea to make a video for that, and that video did pretty well. So it's always like it's always through bouncing ideas off of chat, and people asking really good questions where I get the best insights. I feel. Oh God, we got a religious debate going on in chat. It's gonna be. I don't know if I can say it. There's gonna be a holy war in chat. Guys, please keep it civil. It's like I was saying, like it doesn't. Oh my God. Everyone's welcome here. Let's not make it political or any one ideology. There's so much more in common that we have than we have different, and let's focus on the common ideals of righteousness and of good and of bringing up society as a whole, bringing up the people around us as a whole, being of service to each and every individual in your community. Yeah, Hypnotic, just be careful. So we don't want to insult people. We don't want to. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but Mark has a temper. You're about to get fired back. One time, someone like he was typing something in the Discord, and someone put dot dot dot, and like for like 2 days, he was like, "I'm fighting back my rage," and it's like a 15-year-old that just moderates my Discord. I was like, dude, chill out. I'm telling you, you open a can of worms you're not ready for. I mean, even Christianity was distorted by the Romans. If you look into Christ's birthday, it's not the 25th of December. That's literally a holiday for Saturn. It's called Saturnalia. And like a lot of a lot like Thursday's Thor's Day, Sunday's Sunday of the sun, Monday's Moon's Day. Yeah, yeah. Dude, someone came into my chat one time and they were talking about I can't remember what holy book it was, but I was just like, yeah, dude, I'm not gonna read that right now. And he was like, it's the secrets of the universe. And I was like, okay. And he's like, if you're not ready for it, it's fine. I'm like, bro, imagine like judging someone because they're just not born in the same places. You know what I mean? It's like there's so much like he was looking down on me. I was like, that's crazy. Like I don't look down on anybody for what their beliefs are because I'm not them. Like if I was born in the same places, I might have the same beliefs as them. It's like some people find truth, day one. Some people find truth on their deathbed. Like don't judge. It's crazy. Damn. What got into Mark? He's being all peaceful today. I guess I'm being a good influence. This goes full blown religious debate. I'm ending the stream. I feel like we're walking on eggshells right now. I just don't feel like dealing with that. Not enough energy. Until I go to the bathroom again. I'll be right back. It's not full religious debate yet, thank God. The moment that happens, I'm ending this. But yeah, let's change the subject. It's getting boring. I don't care who's right or wrong. It's just stupid. It's like neither of you are going to convince each other of anything. Neither of you are going to change each other's mind. It's like I mean, there's been a lifetime of experiences that have led us all to this point. Like it's not like you can change someone in a 5 minute conversation through a chat room. Like it's much more effective to demonstrate than explicate. It's much more effective to show through whatever life you're living that you are onto something, that you have a righteous path and the correct one. If that's really your thing, I don't think it's ever beneficial to explain things because whenever you try to explain things, you're inherently losing things in translation. Whenever you try to, talk about the beauty of a rose, does it ever do it justice, or is it just trying to express the inexpressible. Like even the greatest poets who ever lived could never truly express what love really is. They could never truly express the beauty that is nature. They could never, you know, fully fully explain the nature of God. Even the greatest philosophers can't ever make a case 100% for atheism, 100% for theism. Like some things have to be left up for the individual. Let's change the subject. Let's talk about something else. This is boring. Yeah, no, definitely a strong believer, which is good. Which is good. Whatever we believe, we better be strong believers. We better be fully convicted to it because you know half truths get us nowhere. Half measures never are able to carry us through to the light. So I don't care what you do, but do it well. But yeah, anyone got any questions? Starting to get bored. I'll end the stream if we don't. Uh, we're talking about something else. Tired of playing Peacemaker. Yeah, what are your guys' predictions for the election? What's gonna happen? You think there's gonna be any craziness tomorrow? You think there's any nonsense going on? You think people are gonna not accept the what's it called the election? The weirdest thing to me is that Hillary Clinton protested the election, and that now that Trump does it, it's bad. Like it's just a common thing that a lot of people have done. Yeah, yeah. Well, it's like I mean, think of think of the friends that you can't save. Like I mean, I don't know, Hypnotic. I think you're um, well past this, but at least for me, like I'm in the place where like my life is starting to get a lot better. But like the friends that I had in high school, like they're still going down the same path, and yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad to see, and I can try to hold their hand, I can try to force them in the right direction, but the thing is, like, I'm not gonna be able to change them unless they want to change. I'm not gonna be able to do anything through my words. I need to do it through my actions. I need to show them that the things I've done have improved my life to such a degree that like you'd be stupid not to follow me. You'd be stupid not to, you know, do the same things I was doing to at least get a fraction of that success, to at least get a fraction of whatever it is that I got going. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's just like, dude, we both agree to like we both have strong faith in whatever side. You know what I mean? It's like let's just have a civil stream. Like there's so many spaces where we could go argue. Like this is not the one. This is not what I want. Like I've said multiple times, like some of the worst content on the internet is people arguing religion. It's like I mean, you might as well get a Democrat and a Republican in a room. Like nothing's going to change. No understanding is going to be come to. Do we know what Jesus' actual birthday is? I heard 9/11, but I don't know if that's true. That would be so funny if it was. Um, it says somewhere in the Bible what star sign he is, so we get an indication, but I can't remember. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. That can become what I go viral for. Dude, I was watching some podcast and I have no idea who said it, so I can't even like stake this person's reputation. But I think it would just be so funny. Capricorn. I mean, Capricorn is December, January, but I don't remember. It says somewhere specifically where where he would be, and I don't think it was Capricorn. I can't remember. I These are like questions that are like too minute of details for me to. I watched The Simpsons and said Kamala would win. Dude, The Simpsons, fuck The Simpsons. They're not. You know, I wish I had a better answer on that. I don't know the. Can I look this? Can I look this up? What star sign was Jesus? Why is the first question tiny mustache guy? Pisces. Oh, wait. According to astrology, Jesus was born in the sign of the Pisces, the fish. Started around 81. What month is Pisces? February, March? I don't know. I don't even know if that's because that was the AI answer. So I'm not going to Quora for information. Dude, the Simpsons is like, I mean, they're think of how many things they've been wrong about, though. You know what I mean? Like how much of it is like you can make the Simpsons argument, but they've also been wrong about a lot of things. So it's like how many episodes are there where there's wrong predictions, and like how much of them are just stretches? Like I know they predicted Trump becoming president, but at the same time, it's like they they also have been wrong about a bunch of different things. Like it's the end of the day, it's a TV show. Like maybe they're connected to some people that really are big movers, but it's like I mean, could they just be good writers? Could they just see trends? Like I don't know how much credit I give to that. Like I think there's saying that it's that might just be like, oh, the Simpsons said that Kamala's gonna win, so I'm not gonna go vote. It could just be that, you know what I mean? I'll do more research into that though. Why they say Jesus is a Pisces? Because it could just be the age of Pisces. Right now we're in the age of Aquarius. There's like certain times where a certain sign rules. I can't remember what the one before us was. I think it changed in 2001, I want to say. But apparently Aquarius is the water bear, and that's why the sea levels are rising. That's what astrologers think. It's not global warming, it's the age of Aquarius. Should I tell that to one of my professors? It's he talks about I'm not talking about that. Next topic. It's crazy how we can't question things. It's crazy how we can't analyze things. Yeah, anyway, is there a way to delete a message? Wait, I can't do it from here. Hold on, guys. I have to do something. There we go. We talked about a no-no topic. Oh my gosh. I have to remove more messages. Guys, we can. I'm not. Move one urea 17. Yeah, these are things we could talk about. No, you guys aren't doing anything. Don't worry about it. Nothing happened. We're moving on. Let me make money before we can start talking about shit like this. There's certain things that like are instant, like, oh yeah. Let, let us hit like a point where it's not just like, yeah, bye bye. Like it's at least let me get financially free first before we start talking about shit like this. Like the one event in US history we can't talk about. I don't know what that means. Platonic age. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let me become a right wing grifter before we start talking about this shit. Come on, guys. You know the plan. You know the plan. Dude, I mean, who could I compare myself to? Who's the who's that guy? I'll never be on any of their shows, so it doesn't matter. It's like I say that and then instantly they invite me. It's like whenever someone starts getting low viewership, they start having middle of the road takes, and then they eventually come out for the other side. Um, I mean, that's what Destiny did. That's what Dave Rubin did. Like, it's so crazy how much money is in like being a political pundit. Like just saying a few views and being like, "This is why the other side's evil." Like, dude, that shit comes up on my TikTok, and I'm like, I can easily do this, but like, it's not. I'll talk about JFK. JFK is, I think JFK is you could talk about because there's nothing that can be done. It's like 60 years later. I mean, actually, no, I'm not going to talk about the real JFK shit. Never mind. We can talk about the official narrative. Guys, I believe it was one guy in a building, and that's it. Pino, say my name right. Then I'll answer your questions. Damn, that's crazy, Mark. Not even saying my name right. You know what? I have to no say the whole thing again. Guys, can you believe him? Is that worthy of a ban? Guys, we have to have a serious question. Is Mark getting banned for saying my name wrong? Is Mark the new Christina? Is that what we're finding out today? Is that what just got revealed? No. Anytime I'm gonna ban that word from the chat. I can do that, I think. I don't know if I can do that right now. Community moderation. Oh, I might be able to do it right now. Defaults. Okay. I don't know how to do it right now. You guys got lucky. You guys got really lucky. Otherwise, we would make it a bannable offense. No, skills. I think everyone should work on communication. I think everyone should work on understanding their own ego because most people aren't going to work on their ego. Most people aren't going to work on themselves. So if you can just calm yourself down enough to deal with other people, then I think you'll go really far. Damn, watching the news and not me. How could you? Damn, I see how it is, Mark. I thought we were cool. Damn, hurt my feelings now. but yeah, I think if the number one skill that most people don't have is the ability to speak to people, the ability to communicate in a manner that doesn't upset individuals. And like, I am one of the most opinionated people that you can talk to, but I can also converse with everybody. So it's like finding ways to find common ground. Like I could speak with the most, I mean, I'm not, yeah, I say this every time. I'm not a conservative person, but I believe in self-reliance. I believe that the individual can conquer all. So it's like I could talk to the most liberal person and find something we agree on, find some issue that we can discuss in a manner which doesn't upset either person. So it's like that is the that is the number one skill I have, I think. And it's like if you could start to find ways to cultivate this skill, read books that help you rationalize certain beliefs, understand perspective, understand the other person's worldview, that really can take you very far. Because I mean, on a daily basis, I deal with individuals who have absolutely no insight, who have absolutely no intelligence, who literally parrot back beliefs that are just ingrained in individuals for the purpose of control. And it's like, eh, if I can do it, you can do it. I promise you. Like, look at my horoscope; it's Taurus everything. Look at my Chinese astrology; I'm a dragon. Like, literally, I was not meant to agree with people, and I can do it. So if I can do it, you can do it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like just it's not even communicating in general, it's communicating with people you don't like, finding common ground with people you don't like. Like if you can be nicer to your enemies than you can be to your friends, that's really a skill that will take you so far. Like being diplomatic when you don't want to be diplomatic. Like that's by far the thing I've learned that has benefited me the most. And I'm not saying like curtail yourself, curtail who you are as an individual. Like to just find a way to be authentic around everybody. Find a way to converse with everybody. Find something you can agree with. And if you can't, always try to find a good characteristic in somebody. Somebody you don't like, try to find something that you appreciate them for. Try to find something that you can like about them. It's like you have a shitty boss, like just like about how serious they take their job. You know what I mean? Like there's always something we can take away from everybody. There's always some lesson we can learn, even if it's a negative one. Like I mean we all have family members we don't necessarily appreciate, but like, oh, this person, I appreciate how naive they can become because sometimes I get stressed out about knowing too much. Sometimes knowing is a curse, knowledge is a curse, gnosis isn't always a good thing. I mean, this goes back to the fall of man. Like, would it be better to have the capability of thought or have, you know, the Garden of Eden for the rest of your life? Like it's almost like a good and bad. Everything has good and bad to it. So I think Emerson described it as the law of compensation, where when one good thing happens, an equal bad thing happens. When one bad thing happens, there's an equal opportunity on the other side. So always finding that and finding that in individuals and finding that in people you particularly don't agree with on certain issues. But yeah, you guys want to talk about anything else? I'm gonna stay on for like 10 more minutes, then I got some stuff I gotta do. So let's get a good question before we go. Let's not argue about religion. It's just so boring. It's like arguing politics. It's just no headway's gonna be had. Yeah, if no one has anything else to ask,